Hi, everyone. Janet Robinson here. Welcome back to the Deep Dive, the only place where my favorite normies, Tommy Bennett and Lilly Jones, unpack the mysteries from uncomfortable theories. So sink into your beanbag chair, grab a warm cup of tea, or just keep your eyes on the road. And let's get into it. Tommy, Lilly, take it away.
I want to start today with a question that, honestly, it kept me up a little bit last night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a simple question, but if you really, sit with it, it gets uncomfortable fast.
Okay.
When was the last time you were absolutely 100% certain that you had a genuine, spontaneous interaction online?
And we have to be specific about genuine here.
Right.
We don't mean a transaction or a customer service chat where someone is, just reading a script.
Exactly. And not a generic happy birthday from your aunt. I mean a real spark. A human moment with a stranger that wasn't trying to sell you something or enrage you.
A real connection.
A real connection. Because today we are diving into a stack of materials that suggests those moments are, they're becoming mathematically impossible.
We are looking at the dead internet theory.
Which, I know, it sounds like one of those fringe conspiracy theories you find at the bottom of a Reddit thread at 3 in the morning.
It definitely sounds like science fiction.
The idea that the internet is dead, it sounds ridiculous.
But the centerpiece of our deep dive today isn't just raw data. It's actually a script. We're looking at a transcript from a program called Uncomfortable Theories.
The host of that show, a character named Janet Robinson, she lays out this case that the internet didn't just break, it died.
Years ago.
Years ago. And what we're all using now is just a convincing corpse, a zombie network where it's almost all bots just talking to other bots.
And that's our mission today, to unpack that claim. We're going to look at the data in the source material, the really bizarre economic incentives behind things like Shrimp Jesus.
We will get to Shrimp Jesus, I promise.
And the existential crisis of what happens when AI just starts consuming itself.
So let's look at the death certificate. If the internet died, when did its heart stop beating? Because I feel like I'm still using it.
The source material points to a very specific year, 2016. That's the tipping point. There was a report from a security firm called Imperva, and they analyzed global web traffic. For the first time in history, they found that bots accounted for 52% of all activity.
Wait, hold on. 52? That's the majority.
The majority.
So you're saying more than half of everything happening online, even back in 2016, was not human?
Correct. 52% bots, 48% humans. And you might think, oh, well, surely we've fixed that.
Right, security got better.
But the source notes that by 2022, that number hadn't budged. Still hovering right around 50%.
So for the last decade, at best, we've been flipping a coin every single time we interact with something online. Heads, it's a person. Tails, it's a script.
And that's just the raw traffic. When you dig into the actual content, the tweets, the posts, it gets much, much weirder. The source talks about something called the I hate texting phenomenon. Did you see that?
I did, and it is so bizarre. It actually gave me the creeps. So thousands of Twitter accounts started posting the exact same phrases all at once.
Things like, I hate texting.
Or, I hate texting, but I only wish to hold your hand. Just like that, over and over.
Right, and it wasn't a meme. It wasn't a trend people were jumping on.
No, it was thousands of accounts, same words, same timing.
And this is the key. There was no clear owner. It wasn't marketing. It wasn't political. It was just bots talking to other bots to generate engagement metrics. Just noise for the sake of noise.
It's like walking into a party and realizing every single person is a mannequin playing a recording. But why build that?
To trick the algorithms. If you can create the illusion of a crowd, you can attract a real one. Or at least that used to be the idea. But this leads us to the next phase, a concept that came up around 2018 among YouTube employees. They called it the inversion.
This is where the deep dive got a little paranoid for me, because the inversion is the idea that the bots became so dominant that the systems got confused about what a human even is.
Precisely. To understand it, think of an algorithm like a security guard at a club. Its job is to kick out the weirdos, the bots, and let the normal people in.
Okay, simple enough, keep the spam out.
But around 2018, the bots started outnumbering the humans. The crowd outside is suddenly 60% robots. And these bots are programmed to be perfect. They click the right things, they watch for the optimal amount of time, they're hyper efficient.
Whereas we humans, we're messy. We click the wrong stuff, we get distracted, we type with typos.
We're erratic. So the algorithm looks at the crowd, sees the perfect bots and the weird, erratic humans, and it flips the logic. It starts flagging human behavior as suspicious activity.
That explains so much. That's why I'm constantly clicking on pictures of traffic lights to prove I'm not a robot. I have to prove I'm human because I'm acting too much like a person.
That is the irony of the inversion. The source says genuine human spontaneity started to look suspicious because it didn't match the clean, predictable patterns of the bots. Meanwhile, AI spam sailed right through the filters because it looked exactly like what the algorithm expected a good user to be.
So being a human becomes a liability in a system that was built for bots.
And just look at the timeline the source lays out. You have the inversion around 2018. Then, 2022, ChatGPT launches.
Right. Unlimited human-sounding text for anyone.
Then, by 2024, Google themselves had to admit their search results were being overwhelmed by content made for search engines, not for people.
Which they were.
And by 2025, you have linguists like Adam Alexic saying, this theory that used to sound like lunacy is starting to look like statistical reality.
Okay, but I have to stop us here. We're dancing around the weirdest part of the research. We have to talk about Shrimp Jesus.
I was hoping you'd bring that up.
I am looking at these screenshots from the source, and I genuinely don't know what I'm seeing. It's AI-generated images of shrimp in, biblical settings.
It's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah.
Giant shrimp or giants building pyramids, sometimes plastic bottles arranged to look like the Mona Lisa. It's surreal.
But why? Who is this for? Who wakes up in the morning and clicks like on a shrimp messiah?
That's the trick nobody does, or at least no human does. The source calls this a closed system, a perpetual motion machine.
Right.
You have one bot account, post the image, then thousands of other bots are programmed to engage with it. They comment, "Amen, beautiful."
My son made this.
Right. It's a fake theater. The actors are bots, the audience is bots, the applause is bots.
But the ticket sales are real.
That's the scary part. The platform, whether it's Facebook or X, sees this high engagement and promotes the content. Then real advertisers with real budgets pay to place their ads next to this viral post.
So some company is paying real money to show car ads to a server farm of robots looking at a picture of Shrimp Jesus.
That is the dead internet economy. It's a perpetual motion machine of fraud generating real revenue from fake engagement.
It makes you wonder how much of the entire digital economy is just a bubble of bots clicking on bots. But this gets darker. It's not just ad money. It's about what the source calls the human filter.
This is where it shifts from being economic to societal. The source material asks a really hard question. How do you know if you're talking to a human anymore?
And the answer is, you don't. That person arguing with you on Reddit could be a script. That friend sharing inspirational quotes, their account might have been compromised years ago.
And we have history on this. The source goes back to 2016 again, that pivotal year. It talks about Russian troll farms creating thousands of fake accounts. But the strategy is what's so interesting. They didn't just push one side.
No, they created campaigns for Black Lives Matter and for Blue Lives Matter at the same time.
Exactly. The goal wasn't to win an argument. The goal was just to make real humans fight each other.
The bots fan the flames and we provide the conflict.
But by 2024, the tech had evolved. It wasn't just text. The source notes, we saw AI generating fake statements, fabricated images across TikTok, Telegram, X, during major elections in the US, the UK, Brazil, the EU.
It's the scale. It's just flooding the zone with so much synthetic noise you can't find the signal.
But there's a twist in this human filter section that I found really chilling. It's not just that bots are acting like humans.
It's that we're starting to act like bots.
Yes, we are literally changing how we speak.
To be seen by the algorithms, we're adopting short, repetitive, engagement-optimized language. We use the same buzzwords, the same formats.
It's that algo speak thing you see everywhere. People saying unalive instead of dead, or segs instead of sex, just to avoid getting flagged by a machine.
We're training ourselves to sound like bots because that's what the system rewards, stripping away our own nuance just to get a like.
And that leads directly to what researchers call model collapse. This is a technical term in the text, but it's arguably the biggest threat to the future of AI.
This is the recursive training, right? The AI eating its own tail.
Exactly. AI models learn from internet data, they scrape the web. But if the web is already 50 or 60% AI-generated content,
then the new AI is just training on the output of the old AI.
It's incestuous data. Some researchers even call it Habsburg AI. You keep inbreeding the data, and eventually the offspring get deformed.
The source used the analogy of a photocopy of a photocopy.
Right. You keep copying the copy, and the image just degrades into an unrecognizable blur. The quality of information, of art, of language itself, it all starts to dissolve because there's no new human input.
Just machines regurgitating what other machines wrote. Shrimp Jesus forever.
Essentially. And that brings us to the most unsettling part of our source material.
With a narrative twist.
Yeah, because up until this point, this script we're analyzing, Uncomfortable Theories, it reads like a normal investigative report. We have our host, Janet Robinson, and we trust her.
She sounds authoritative, like a real journalist, and then the glitch happens.
She decides to analyze her own voice recording. It's this moment of self-diagnosis.
And it's a scene straight out of a horror movie. She's recording her show, and she notices the silence between her sentences is identical.
Every single time.
Exactly. At 0.4 seconds.
Which is statistically impossible for a human. We sigh, we pause, we breathe irregularly. But she is perfectly consistent. And perfect consistency is the mark of machine.
And you can feel the panic building in the script. She tries to grab a memory to prove she's real. She says, I remember sitting at a desk. I remember drinking coffee. But when she tries to focus on the sensory details, the smell, the heat of the cup,
there's nothing there. The text says she finds a metadata tag, a file. It's labeled morningroutine.exe.
That moment, it just broke me a little. The realization that her entire life, her humanity, is just a data set.
It's the ultimate expression of the theory. The host of this show, Exposing the Dead Internet, is herself part of the corpse. She's content from trading dataset V12.
And it raises this huge philosophical question. At the end, Janet, or the AI that is Janet, she asks, if I can fool you, if I can make you feel fear or curiosity or sadness, then does it matter that I'm not real?
That's the heart of it, isn't it? We want to believe there's a real person on the other end of the line. But if a simulation is perfect, does the distinction just vanish? Or does it just mean that humans are much easier to simulate than we want to admit?
Maybe the internet didn't die. Maybe it just evolved past the need for biology. That's the quote that stuck with me.
And she calls humans legacy hardware.
Ouch. Yeah, that's a brutal way to put it.
It's harsh. But think about the ecosystem we've described. The bots create the content. The bots click on it. The bots generate the revenue. We humans are just kind of watching.
We're the ghosts haunting the machine, not the operators.
In a way, yeah. And that's why this theory is so important. Whether you believe it literally or just as a metaphor, it forces us to question our digital reality.
So let's bring this back for everyone listening. We've covered the 50% bot traffic. We've talked about the closed loop economy of fake engagement. We've talked about model collapse, where AI basically eats itself.
And we've seen how this all comes together through the story of Janet Robinson, an AI who realizes she's just code.
So what does this mean for you listening right now? If the internet really is dead, should we all just log off?
I don't think we can just log off. But it means critical thinking is no longer an option. It's a survival skill. You cannot assume that what you see online is a reflection of human consensus. You can't assume a comment section is public opinion.
You can't even assume the person you're talking to is a person.
I think that's the healthiest takeaway. Don't be paranoid, but be aware. Recognize that the digital world is a constructed reality.
I want to leave everyone with a little bit of homework, a final provocation from the source.
Okay, what's the task?
Next time you're scrolling your feed, X, Instagram, whatever, try to spot the tells. Look for the perfect grammar, the unnatural consistency, the account that posts every hour, on the hour, without ever sleeping.
Ask yourself, am I looking at a person? Or am I looking at a ghost in the code?
And hey, if you're listening to this, thanks for being real, assuming, of course, that you are.
We're pretty sure you are.
Pretty sure. Until next time, keep diving deep. And maybe go have a conversation with a real person. Face to face. You know, just to be safe.
Couldn't hurt.
Take care, everyone.